Well, welcome back, everybody, to week 8, session 8 of How to CAD Almost Anything. Today is our last class. Maybe I might do another video afterwards. There's one pending item that I wanted to talk about. And because it's the last class, today we're going to do something extra special or a bigger than usual project. So let's get ourselves started. This is from last 2 weeks. I don't think you've seen the Mario Kart. And then I'm doing it. It looks nice. And then we did the Canon camera. Those were two very interesting objects. But today we're going to do something a little bit more challenging, which is designing a. Well, actually, if you have any questions, do you have any questions? So no questions, but they might come afterwards. So no warm up today. We're going straight into the project because it's going to take a little bit of time, and we're going to try to do something like this. Um, at least the one that I have in my mind is a little bit different than this model, but the point is that we're going to design in a single part all of these different like parts of the airplane. And the point is that you can lay them all out afterwards and laser cut them. And then we can do some drawings out of this. That way it looks like a Lego and shows you how to assemble it. Um, Although before we go into that, yes, this is the version. So like, I was looking at a picture of a Cessna in there more or less to cut this. But just before I forget, let me show you just, and actually I'll go back. Let's start designing and then we can come back to some of those items afterwards. Let's see in here. I'm gonna make this big. Class demos. I'm gonna create a new folder for week 8. Let's create a new document and let's call it model plane. I always find it the most difficult part. It's doing like the first sketch because that's when after you do this first sketch, everything is easy. The first thing that we can do is let's start the sketch here in the front plane, and just to give you an overview, right? Let's first start. We're only gonna do half of the plane. And so we'll first do say like the fuselage part, and then we're gonna create like a plane that it's next to that, and then we're gonna start every time we do a part, then we'll mirror that same part on the other side. And then once we do that, then we'll do like the nose, then we'll do like the tail, then we'll add the wings. And depending on how much time we have, we might add like more details to it. So let's start with the very, and we can also do like a stand. That way the airplane has like a little. Here, so let's start. So let's do a line. I'm gonna first do some construction lines. So just drawing like the overall, I guess, outline. Just using construction lines of the plane. Something like this, more or less like that. And once you're kind of happy, like the shape, modify it a little bit, and then we can add some like curves and whatnot to make it look nicer. I think maybe our plane, instead of having the wing on the top, it might be on the bottom. That way, look, it's like a different model. Here, maybe something like that. Okay. So once you're happy with more or less the overall dimensions, let's start giving this some values. And it doesn't matter what the values are, we can always scale them. Um, that's like 30. Ninety for that one. That's good. Okay, so it has to look all dark. So now that we have this, then I can add, for instance, like arches, and I can say, all right, I want this to be like a little bit curved, like that. And I can add like a black line for there. For the nose, I'll probably leave it straight. I think it's fine. There we go. And then I'm adding a bunch of little construction lines, right? All in different parts of the plane. Why those? Because then I'm gonna make like little rectangles there. And those will represent like the cutouts where we're gonna where like the parts are gonna stick together. And this is like the most important piece because once we do this part, then everything else will be. Oh, make this one flat. You will see why. I think eh, mm, I would only make this one curved, the one in the bottom.
Oh,
This one, yeah, just make it flat. Well, I think it's because it will make some things easier afterwards. That's really. Let me help you. No, oh God. Yeah, so what I'm doing in here is just, so that's perfect out there. Are you happy with the shape overall?
I don't have in mind the shape for a plate.
It will be a nice plane, I'm sure. Like this more or less looks fine to me. So then what I'm adding is just a bunch of holes, because then what I'll do is I'll come, actually, before I do this, let me just continue editing this sketch. I'm gonna add yet one more line, which you can also do as well, which is like to represent like the window. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So just adding just like windows in there, because then you will see that when we extrude, it will already look like the overall shape. Um, but now, yes, when I bring, say we're gonna agree on giving this a thickness of 3 millimeters as an example, right? Then I select this area, and this becomes like the part. Very good. No, of course. So now we go to, let's call it the fuselage. Now the key step in here is, first I'm gonna hide all of the planes. I don't wanna show them also the origin. I'm gonna hide it. And then I'm gonna go to the plane command, and I'm gonna click on this version that's called offset. So I'll click on this face of the plane, and then I'm gonna offset this, let's see, by 10. And once I've done that, I can do a mirror of the part around this plane. So now you see how, yeah, that looks about right. Maybe, so now you can edit the plane and just see whether you want the offset to be a little bit bigger, which means that will control like the thickness of the plane. I think 12, 12 is about right. I think that looks good. But then we're gonna start making parts that are gonna connect in all of those places. Wonderful. So now you see how it created two parts in there. So that's the key part, that every, you remember how we can do like merge the parts or like leave them separate. So this is an example where this software is super useful. I'm gonna leave them always separate. That way, for instance, I can click in here and hide if I wanted to, but I won't do that. So now let's start adding a bunch of pieces. For instance, I can click here in sketch and do a sketch here in that face. And this is also where the command convert the project entities is super useful. So I can click in here and then start projecting that line, and that line. And the same thing with this line, and this line. And then I can draw a bunch of lines in here. Like this. And then we're gonna use a command that's called pierce. And with pierce, I can say, all right, click in this point, and that point, let's see. Oh, no, actually, I don't, maybe coincidence might work in this case. There we go, perfect. So I can make these lines be the same length as those points in there. So then I can grab the line and join them like this. And then I'll extrude it upwards by 3. And it's very important that I leave it as a new part. So now you see how part 3 appears there. So it's a lot easier when you're building something that looks at as an assembly. It's better not to even use the assembly, just to build it all in the same space. So let's do it here again. So now you have the front of the plane. Actually, one thing that I just realized with this thing is that, yes, the plane looks nice, but it would look even nice. So I'm gonna go back in time. So I'm gonna roll back to extrude 1 because I wanna add a bunch of fillets to, which is probably it's gonna complain, but it doesn't matter. I think it's necessary to add these fillets. So let's add them all throughout the. Otherwise, it looks very, very blocky. Around there, and then I'll probably add them here on the windows too. But it's gonna complain. I can tell you why. The thing that we used as a reference before disappeared. There, there. So now we bring back the line to the present, and it says, all right, sketch 2. What happened in here? I'm gonna go back to sketch 2, and you see how all of the red it becomes red. So I'm gonna delete all of those lines and create new references. In essence, I will just reference it with that line in there. So I'll say this. Very good. Oh. And that one I need to reference it with that. Okay. So problem fixed in there. But it looks a little bit better like that. So now that we got these two shapes, let's continue adding like this in there, in there, in there. So for instance, let's do this one, which is a little bit more difficult, right? So I'll do a sketch on that face and the same method as before. I'll here click on project and I will project this line, and that line. Then this line, and this line. And then I will add a bunch of points about like these lines in here. And then I will click on I and just make them coincident with those lines. And now let's do this. And there we go. And let's make this 3. And it's important to have the fillets actually, because when I put the top piece in there, I don't want any interference. Because for instance, I can do it now. Let's see whether I would have it or not. And I'm gonna. But it's easy for me to teach you how to do this because I was struggling already, the like 2 nights before trying to do it. So, but if you were to come up with this on the spot, it's obviously more challenging. That's why it's very automatic for me to do this procedure. But you can extend this example to a lot more things, not just this model airplane. There we go. That's new. Perfect. So you see now I have a roof in there. Now, because of all of the dimensions, right? The way that we did this, say we look at the airplane and we realize I want this to be slightly wider. Then I can always go back to plane one, edit here, and make it say 13. And it will everything that we've done will automatically change. So this is a very nice approach. So now, yes, now you know the idea. So we need to do it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 more times. The challenge is how quickly can you do it. The thing that there's actually competitions of like people. It's not so much like we're doing now, which is using our creativity and imagination for cutting, but they get like an engineering drawing, right? And they start doing it. I've never participated of those. I don't think I would do well, like, maybe. I don't know how I would do until I would do it, right? But some people cut at the speed. It's incredible. It's like they look at that, they instantaneously know. So you have to train for this. It's like training for a tournament, right? Just one cut every day, like a different one. That would be outstanding. There we go. Imagine getting paid for doing that. It would be so stressful. The CAD Olympics. That would be spectacular. Well, I think Dassault has an office around here or
The US.
in the US. But I haven't heard of them in a while. Okay, that piece looks decent to me over there. Now be careful when you do the here in the bottom piece in here because it depends on what the thickness is. So this one, maybe don't use the coincident command. You can just give it some random dimension.
You also have your roof going inside on the window.
Oh, it's fine. It's a different design. Oh. I'm not sure. I think we'll end up with around 10 different parts, more perhaps a little bit more, but it's better than 106, which is what we had on the other a little bit more complex version. Which means that when we do the drawings, it's gonna be a lot more manageable. A good sanity check to make sure that they're all different parts is that once you make them, they have different colors. actually give this one a dimensional. See, 30. 40. It's too much. 45 is fine. And once you know what you're doing, it's just very repetitive, the process.
It's, it's
No, it's good. It's like Karate Kid. You know, the movie is my favorite analogy. It's just always repeat the same thing and eventually it's automatic. Okay. Yeah, so the bottom is not the best because yes, I can pretend that it's actually round, but the reality is just flat there. But it's a toy, so it doesn't matter for the kids that will play with this. I think an alternative, I've been telling you, an alternative title for this class is how to design toys more than, but I think it's the best way to learn. This. In just like that. That's perfect. Yes. But then the other piece there comes. Yes, I'll help you in a second. I'm just gonna keep this. Okay, I finished my part. So now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a new plane. So I'm gonna click on plane and I will select this top face. But I actually want the plane to be in the bottom direction. So let's say 40, maybe or 50, like some amount. It doesn't matter how much. Probably actually this is perfect because it's just aligned with there. And the point is that this is where like the location of the wing. Perhaps actually yeah, like it there. That's where we're gonna build the wing. So I'm gonna say okay. And now for our next sketch, I'm gonna do a sketch here on the plane that we just created. And I'm gonna start by drawing a construction line that comes like that. There we go. That might be a little bit too much. Spot. The and that one. Okay. Yeah, it's more or less like the shape of the wing, right? Maybe that could be a little bit bigger. Oh, but like I see what's going on. Um, I don't want that. There we go. Lengthwise, I think it's fine at 110. I don't want that to be. Yeah, 35 is fine. And then I'm gonna use this command now. Yes, this one that's called pierce, and I click in this point and that line, and it makes it coins. Excellent. So this one can be more like a glider. It has like longer wings. You can do. Yes, this is where we get creative. We can do whatever we want, and that's perfect. Yeah. So now you can give whatever dimensions that you want. But one thing that I'm gonna add immediately is, as usual, a little line in here called free, and that's gonna like represent the slot that it will come into. And once you're happy with this, I'm just gonna click OK. Here on the top face of this thing, there we go. On the top face of this, and I'm gonna click here in convert entities, and I'm gonna project that line, right? And then I will draw it. I will draw this rectangle out in here. Let's make these two parallel. Let's make that free. And the reason for doing that is because I'm going to extrude. I'm gonna remove, and I'll say through all, and the feature scope to be on those on here and there. There we go. That way I have already the hole where the wing is gonna go. So I did it extrude there and also on that part. Yeah, so that's almost perfect. Yeah, so yeah, I'll give that free. And now remove. I'll say through all. And then say, you see how it says a merge or scope? It already selected that one. I'm gonna add that too. That way it also knows that it has to go through there. So this is excellent. Why? Because now I can go here to extrude and I'll choose this sketch in here and also that like both faces. I'll give that free. Make sure to make that new. So I'll click there on new. Perfect. And now I can go to mirror, entities to mirror that, mirror plane here. So it will appear there as well. You see, kind of the now is where we can play around a little bit more if you didn't like more or less the dimensions. I can let's say 35. I will say there is room for improvement, but that's okay. It's not perfect. I will make some fillets though, so that it looks a little bit better.
Right.
It's definitely gonna fly. This is good. Yeah, it looks kind of weird because we haven't made the tail and everything. Let's do the tail. So to do the tail is actually very easy because we go here to sketch and I click on the plane that we already have, plane 1, and we do the same approach, right? I draw like a random line that goes like that. And then maybe with this line, what we should do is make it parallel to that. And then I'm gonna pierce this point to here. There we go. That way it's all along that plane. I can make that like 2. So you can have a shape that looks more or less like that. And then yes. No, I think it's in that one. Yes, yes. Perfectly. And I'm just gonna start giving this some dimensions. Then and now we're gonna do a new sketch on this face. So I'll do sketch on that face. And now all we have to do is a little rectangle that is centered on this point. And I'm gonna make it the usual dimensions. And after that, we extrude. Ta-da! So then, yes, we can go back to our wing, symmetric. It doesn't look, once you add the tail, it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
Almost done, almost there. Last step, which is so for this one, what we can do is, let's do a sketch in this face right here. And then let's draw an opening that looks like this, like a trapezium. And let's dimension this to be, say, like 6, that 3, and maybe the distance in here, let's make it 6 as well. And once you're happy with that, just extrude, like remove that material. But then we're gonna make like the top wings, right? There to be like a slot that comes in that space. Oh, that can be any size, don't worry. What matters is that that is free. Perfect. And then just one touch. Extra nice. Perfect. Because now what we'll do is I'm gonna click here on sketch and I will do a sketch on that face. And the very first thing that we can do here is first a construction line that's gonna go right there. Yeah, construction line that goes there in the middle. Then a line that we're gonna make like this. Actually, let's make that pierce. Excellent, like that. That makes that look roughly okay. You see, I'm not no airplane designer. This is just how I think the plane would roughly look like. No, I wanna be the guy that buys the airplanes for the airline.
Really? That's less funny.
No, it's interesting. If you take the class, the airline industry class, which is the one that I'm TA next semester, actually. One of the people that comes to speak to us is the person that does that for Delta. It's, I think, like an interesting thing. But anyways, when you have a shape like this, you can then just mirror the sketch. So I can click on, oh, actually, I'm gonna do it again. I was, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There, just like that.
Did the right shape?
That's perfect. Yeah, so you can dimension it. Yeah, that looks great. I'm just gonna extrude this by 3. Oh, actually, I'm not opposed to the design of this plane. It looks quite okay. You know, but it's just like sometimes whenever I do CAD, I'm like, oh, this is just bad. But once you look at it a couple of times, you get convinced. So now, once you add the fillets in there, so now the last thing that we're gonna do is what I didn't do on my other design is maybe we could add the. Yeah, we're gonna imagine this one doesn't have one. It's like a glider, but let's do the stand. And this is where we can get creative because we can do a sketch here on this face, and I'm gonna convert entities this entire this line in here. Good. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I wanna now say I want this to be in a little stand that is 10 centimeters tall. So then I can design like a massive, like a big arch in here. Design. Wait. Then I'm gonna draw yet another line. It goes like this, then like that, then like that. You will see what all of this means in just a second. I'm just gonna give this the usual dimension of 3, maybe 6 this time. As well. Okay. And then maybe for the base, that could be like 70. And then we have another big arch that's gonna come like this. So you see, like that's the top and it would go inserted. And then you can add maybe like, oh, should probably make this perpendicular. There we go. Okay, and once we have this, then the very last thing is, as usual, like that. Like make this. Fine. Okay, so let's do it on yours. This idea.
I think it's your drawing.
Actually, let me finish it, and maybe it's gonna make sense. But now what I can do is go here to sketch. I go here to this face, and then all I can do is I can project that line, do the usual rectangle in here. So let's make this and this coincident. Then I give this 3 millimeters, and then I extrude in there. Now we go back. It's similar to the wing design. So I can make it symmetric, then free, new. So now I have like the standing there, and then the very last piece, which is the nicest piece. Okay, to the sketch. I can really, what I could do is a line that goes from here to there. Um, Actually, there's this command that's called slot. So slot is super easy. You just click a line, and then you can make that line. Like this. And then I can project this face in there. And boom. So now you have, this could be like a trophy. Like you finished how to CAD for the semester. Actually, we're not done, but now we need to make the drawings after this. But this is like the overall idea. And you can modify this to maybe have it tilted or. We're gonna make a drawing out of this. So this is the fun part because I don't think we've done drawings yet. No, so today is the time to do it. So we'll make one where we're putting a picture of, actually, how about an idea? Let's do this. So let's go here to assembly. Let's actually, where's the plus tab? You can click in there, and there is a tab that's called create drawing. So we'll create drawing, and we're gonna choose, yes, ANSI portrait is the one that I like because it's, like vertical, and I'll say, okay. There's lots of different ways of creating a drawing. Now, you see, it gives me the option of bringing every single part. We have 15 parts, and actually, it's not a bad idea. I could either bring the entire assembly or the entire part. Now, if we want to make it like a Lego, eventually I want to have each one of those parts listed in there, and we can put like a name and some of the dimensions. But for our purposes, I want to just bring the entire thing, right? And a couple of things that we can do is, once you bring like the first picture, you see that I move this thing around and it gives me like different views of the plane. For instance, like that, or like this. So this in here is called the isometric view. So I want to bring first this view, then perhaps the front view. I think, yes, if you click again, it will give you another view. Let's bring the top view, and let's bring the bottom view. Okay. And if you move one of them around, all three of them will move simultaneously. Now, what I really wanna do here is, and I'm gonna bring this thing here. If you click in one of them, you double click, it gives you a bunch of properties. And for instance, the scale. And I can say that I want the scale to be 1:4, which makes it a little bit bigger. And you see how it automatically changes. Maybe we can push it to 1:3. Let's see if it gives us the option. So 1:3 is probably as big as we'll be able to have it there. Okay. So then I'm just gonna move a couple of things around. Maybe all of this stuff in here, I can actually select it. Well, I just move the plane around, and I can delete it if I wanted to. These are just lines. In fact, for the purposes of our drawing, I don't need them now. So here we can say, we can add text on each one of these and say, all right, model plane. Here we call it, this is, we are in session 8, so that is appropriate. I'm gonna add a node in there, we can call it. Make that be center. And the weight we did change it to scale 1 to 3. So now we have more space to play around with the drawing. So not bad in there with all of the different. Now, before I let you continue with this, I can go here to Part Studio, again, where we did our plane, and say I like this view a lot. Like, I think this really depicts it. So I can right click, actually, where is it? Yes, so I go to that box in there, and I call this named view, and I can say that ISO, and I say add view. And why am I doing this? Because then if we go back to the drawing, I can insert view, and in view orientation, I can click on ISO, which is the one that we just created. And I'll give it the scale 1 to 3. And we just have, so I like to have an isometric view there in the corner. And if you double click in this one, instead of, where it says, let's see, where is the color? Mode. Oh, there we go. So I just have to right click on it. And where is it? Tangent view orientation. Show shade view. There we go. So in general, the only one that is colored is the one that is isometric. All other ones. So you need a minimum of 3 views to show right one of the faces and one not.
So how to get the colors?
Oh. Okay. Like that. And then this is very nice. And then you can click here on note, and I can add a note here that says bottom view. I can make this a little bit bigger. No, actually, this is a top view. There we go. Then you get. Oh no, in mine is in that one. But for yours, yes, that is true. And this is, I'm gonna call it the side view. Then we were conveying as much information as we can. This is now, yeah, the bless you, bless you. Bottom view. And now one more, which is gonna be here the side view. If you click in auxiliary view and just one of these, then you can bring another one of these views that I'll say Control C, I don't want that. You can also bring more views, like projected. If you wait a second, it will render, but I don't want those ones. So I can just delete them. Oh. But now, what I think is interesting is this balloon stuff, because I can start adding like a bunch of balloons in here and then say, all right, this is like part. I want to do like a part inventory of all of these different things. And now you see they don't have any particular number. And it's okay. We're gonna leave it as such. But let's see. I want to do it from the way to show it. Maybe I'll do. So we go back to the part studio. We have 15 different parts, but it's not 15 unique parts. Like unique parts is 1, 2. Well, actually, we will count the ones we're like here. So we just want to do the balloons for the like the unique parts, I guess. Although we could show that these are the same. And the reason why I'm putting all of these balloons is because then I can add like a little table down there that says, all right, number and the name. There's one here for. I think these are all of them. So for instance, I can start now. I can go over there and say I want that to be number 1. And I just start adding numbers. There's a way to do this automatically, but I don't like doing it that way. I'd rather. That's very nice. Seguro. Oh, perfectly. And then we can go here to where it says table. And it will ask us, right, how many do we want, right? So this is going to be a little bit challenging because it's going to be a very big table. So if I think for a moment, what would be the best way? So at least in this example, I got 11 unique parts. So I'll probably make a table that is, let's make it um, 6 columns and 6 rows. And 7 rows. So 6 columns and 7 rows. And you'll see why this particular arrangement in just a second. I'll say, okay, I'll call that item. Well, it's like as if I duplicated the table because they're gonna be like identical. Okay, let's call it name, name, and then I call this one key2 quantity. Okay. Um, oh, there we go. I want my table to fit exactly in this space over there. So let's see whether I can compress it. Or let's be there. Okay. Mm, this is more like details, nothing too fun. I think that looks right. That's excellent. And now I can say, all right, item number 1 is wing. And I have 2 of them. Item number 2 is, let's call it number 1. Number 3 is call it 4 is I'm kind of inventing some of these names. I don't think they are properly called, like cone or nose. Well, nose, yes, but the other ones no. 7. What is 7? Oh, you're kidding me. Oh my goodness. I forgot number 7, which is a very sad thing. So I skipped it. Which means I need one less row, which is not the end of the world. So I'll just do it manually. This 9, and that's 10. Again, remove row. There we go. So 5, what was 5? Yes. Numbers. Page. Oh, actually, I didn't need it. This is unfortunate. It happens to me all the time that I forget an item. But that's because I do it manually. I shouldn't do it this way, but it's fine. I forgot like in fact, um, 6, like it's 5. There we go. How are you doing over there? Oh, the tail. Do I have the? No, I don't have the tail. My goodness, I'm terrible at this. I'm. Oh my goodness. I'm not very pleased with my performance in numbering. I thank you for asking. Otherwise, I wouldn't have realized. Okay, that's 6. Of 7 is. Right, so now I need to number them. I think now the only problem is that when we add all of these numbers, we should get the same number of parts as in the assembly. So that's the part that makes me the most nervous of this, not to have messed up. It's possible I missed one of them, but it's fine. It's a design flaw in there. So cone is 7, 8 is nose, 9 is stand, 10 is base, 11 is bottom, bottom R, bottom bed, one, one. I think the addition gives me 14. And the problem is I got 15 parts, which means there's one that I forgot, and I think I know which one I forgot, which is the roof of this thing. Yes, it's fine. At least people in YouTube are aware of that little flaw in there. But yes, this is just drawing number one. So let's do it with you here. Let's now click in where it says sheet over here. And I think it allows us to, in here where it says insert sheet. So this is one of our pages. Then we can do another one. And I'm gonna start inserting views. But let's see. There we go. I'm gonna click in where it says insert. And now I wanna insert each one of these different parts into this place. So let's start with, let's do, on the scale, let's do 1 to 4 for these ones. Actually, 1 to 3 is fine. So I'll bring that one. Then I'm gonna go back to insert, and I'm gonna bring. Now what's gonna be difficult about this is that they all look very similar. Which one is that one? Delete. I think that is like the. So I wanna orient them approximately where they're supposed to go. So insert view. Now part 4, and what was the question is? Part 4 was, so part 2, part 3, part 4 is in the back. Okay, so insert part 4. There we go. Oh, this is, I want that to be flat actually. I think, you know what? I think this is too complicated. It's not worth doing. I think we might be better if we just bring a big view, because there's a in one of the other videos. Along, I can just give you an idea now. There's a thing that's called in here, in configuration panel. No, it's not in here. Appearance. Oh, here. Oh, because I didn't. It's fine. Yes, I didn't do it as an assembly. It's okay. But this is a single part, right? Had I done this as an assembly, I could do something that's called an exploded view. So if you watch the video of the helicopter, it tells you how to do that, which would make this process of selecting all of the different parts a lot easier. I think for the purposes of this, what we could do is here insert view. Uh, let's bring just the entire assembly in here. Um, and let's actually bring the exact same views that we had before. So the top, then the bottom like that. And let's add a couple of dimensions. That way we more or less have an idea of how big all of these things are. In fact, I'm gonna go to the previous sheet in here and I'll copy paste some things into this one. For instance, that the scale is like that. And then that way it's consistent. Very well. Top view. Yeah, they're making drawings. It requires a lot of patience, especially if you want. They're like pieces of art, right? Because they convey a lot of important information. So making it in a rush manner, it's never a good thing. And that's a note to self, really, other than anything else. Right. I'm just gonna put. And now adding dimensions is super easy because it's literally you click on this symbol in here, right?
Yes.
And you just go, all right, that point, that point, and maybe one, okay, that's fine. One note that I would add in here, which is not a small one, would be all units are in millimeters. And that way, whomever looks at this knows what what all this is about. Okay. Okay.
And if I update my drawing, like my
Part the drawing updates as well. Yes, automatically.
Okay,
Like I wanna, I like that you brought the isometric view. I'm gonna insert that one as well. So shaded view. Right, in fact, I'll go back to this one. I'll call this. Now we're not gonna add every single dimension because I'm assuming that someone is gonna laser cut this. So this is just to like you're doing right now, just to more or less have a general understanding of how big this thing would be. It's nice, but then you can print the drawing and leave it as decoration.
No, but for real, it's really
What?
for real the drawing.
Yeah, no, it's like art. I mean, we're also special people, right? Think of these things in this way, but it's true. I think the Lego brick drawing is like a very classic. And you can drag and you can move things around. But in general, this is the basics of how to make drawings. So we have the table, and then we have like all of these different dimensions, and then you can add a bunch of nodes with things that you would want to change. And yes, and if you change something here, if you go back to your part and you change something there, it will update automatically on the drawing. Maybe
There will also be one.
that goes like that. And there's, if you double click on a dimension, it allows you to also give it some tolerance if you wanted to, or let's see here. Uh, you can give it like limits. It could be symmetrical, uh, things like that. We're just gonna leave it as none. But this is really it for there. Just the last thing that you could do is, I think if we how is it here? Or you click in drawing one and then you go to export, you can save it as a PDF. That's what I'll probably end up doing afterwards. Like that. And I should go back to this one. Maybe I'll add a note. I just want people to know about this. Okay, so I'm gonna actually go back to the slides because this is we need to finish now. So, well, just to finish the video, really. Yeah, so this is where we were here, but I wanted to make like a question. It doesn't matter. You can throw me comments in YouTube. But this was really what we did. It was a nice summer. Actually, a little bit more than 2 months. It was a lot of stuff. But I think more than looking at the specific stuff on the syllabus, is more looking at the pictures. So this was weeks 1 through 4, sessions 1 through 4. A variety of interesting items, but I think I like a little bit better 5 through 8, which was the second half. And yes, probably in this time in here where the airplane is, we would have like things from there. But yes, it's how to CAD almost anything. And we went from a relatively simple calculator to, I think, a more complex airplane. And we went, perhaps the levels of difficulty oscillated a little bit. But that's it. That's the end of this class. Thank you for everything. Maybe more videos might come afterwards. Otherwise, will come back hopefully the summer of next year. So yeah, how about wow, that's slide number 5 and should have anyway. See you all next time. There we go. And now I'm gonna stop sharing. But hi folks, welcome back. Just a bonus note that I forgot to mention during the regular class time today is that actually taking the part that we designed today, which is really multiple bodies, multiple separate parts, you could bring that into an assembly, and the assembly does recognize all of these different parts, and then you can do an exploded view. So that's actually what we're gonna attempt to do right now. So let's give it a shot. I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna share in here so you can see everything right here. Yeah, so this is our airplane that we designed earlier, and this is the drawing. These are the drawings, right, that we have. So we got our 2 sheets from before. So I can go here to the tab and go here to create assembly, and then I can insert the entire part in here, right? So I can bring actually, yes, here, boom, that's okay. So theoretically, yes, I could move all of these out of place. For instance, I can move it like that. I'll say Control Z because they're individual bodies in case that's useful for you. We can do that. Also, another thing I noticed is that when I did the mirror of the wing in there, I think I may have merged because those two look like the same part to me. So I'm gonna go back and fix this right away. So I have to go here to edit and make it a new. There we go. Doesn't change much, as you can see, but it's an important fix to have done. Yeah, go to the assembly, and that actually did not do the trick. So maybe I'll just see if I can delete all of this stuff. Oh, I do not want to do that. I'll create a new assembly, it's fine. Create assembly. I think it's just quicker to do it this way. And now, yes, boom. So we have our airplane model there. So yeah, so you could potentially add, like we've learned before, a couple of the different relations mates on this part. Otherwise, you can leave it fixed as it is like this. Well, it's not fixed. I can move it, as I said. But really, what we're interested on is on the exploded views. So you can go here and add an exploded view. And this is stuff that we've done in the past, but it's still useful to do one more time, right? So I think I'm going to choose these two. I'm going to move them to the side. And maybe I'll move the wing as well. Yeah, that looks good. And I'm gonna do the exact same thing. Like that. Just a pretty quick exploded view, honestly, nothing. And then like this. But it's one that shows you all of the different parts. And just move. Yeah. Like how it looks there. Then maybe let's get all of these guys up. And then just bring them a little bit upwards like that. Hopefully, yes, the lines should trace. Everything goes. So this roughly shows you all of the different parts of the plane. So you can see how things get assembled together. So I think this is a much better way of depicting stuff. So once we're happy with this, I can bring like that. So then I can activate explode and it shows everything. Otherwise, I'll say done. Let me just activate again. And I kind of like this view. So I'll create a new named view and I'll call this ISO 2 because I think I may have created another one before. Good. And why have we done this? Because then I'll go here to drawing one and I'm gonna create a new sheet in here. And when you go here to insert view, I can go, well, I can click here and insert assemblies and I'll create assembly one. Now, what I can do here is, I believe here I can show the explode view. And then in view orientation, I'll choose ISO 2. So it's exactly what we had before. And then let's see if we can give it the 1:3 scale that we've been using. Perhaps even 1:2. Let's see. Oh, that is too much. Yeah, but this seems fine. Yeah, like that. Very nice. And then I think that in the previous exploded views that I've done before, yes, I've shown it fully in color. So let's do the same thing. So you're gonna show hide, show shaded view. That way it's a little bit easier to take a look at all of those parts. So here I'm gonna add the same table that we had from before. So go here to sheet 2. I can double click there. Actually, here sheet 1. So sheet 1 gives you, it's all fully built and it shows you the different parts that we got. And while sheet 2 is just a couple of the more relevant dimensions, but nothing too fancy, just a note. So I'm gonna copy this table from here, Control C. Let's see. Yes, I can bring it. Excellent. I'm gonna move this to the side for a moment. Let's see, does this work? Actually, I may leave these like this because what I'm gonna do is the following thing. Let's see whether I can remove columns. Okay, did I leave the ones that I want? Yes, it seems. Okay. Well, now I can just add a bunch of rows. Is there gonna no? There's a row below. So we're gonna add, and this time I can actually do it properly. I can add item number 13. That's gonna be the roof that we didn't show before. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'll call that cone, nose, and base, bottom, R, bottom, L. Yeah, I'm not too descriptive with the names, and I'll probably need to go back. And I think it's all ones. Okay. I can delete this. I can leave this in here. Okay. We got our bill of materials. That is it. I'm thinking whether it would be possible to perhaps go here. Yeah, I think this is a pretty good view. Like I kind of want to make this bigger. If I want to try making a maybe a named view like this. I wonder whether that would change. Nah, but it's very similar. Yeah, it barely made a difference. I'll leave ISO too, it's fine. It's just a pity that I don't think they allow us to do custom sizes, and maybe do like the one half is too big. So maybe I'll put it like that. I'll bring a picture of actually our studio. You know what? You know how it's supposed to look like. Although I wanna see front ISO, bottom ISO, back ISO. Um, Maybe this one I could make it a little bit bigger. Or maybe I can add a note, maybe saying something along the lines of built plane versus. Yeah, well, note. View. Then construct. Build. Okay, so having done this, now we can start again putting all of the balloons. So here's a little bit easier because we can actually put a balloon for each one of these parts. So I'll start with an houses here, like this. Did the arrows work on those ones? No. There's a process that requires a good bit of patience. But there we go. See, like this. Okay, so wing is this one. So one, and 1. Good. Elevator is that one. 2. Then no stop is that one. 3. Then fuselage here is 4. And this one here 4. Then back top, I'm assuming it's referring to this piece in there. Tail, cone, nose, and base, bottom, roof. So roof is theoretically this one. There's 13. Let's go back here for a moment. Right, I think I also forgot another part, which is the tail roof. Then roof. And the roof and I don't need to, I don't know, I can just add those 2 items as another part. Sure, roll it up. Why would no. So here P would stand for plane, I suppose, and T for tail. So let's make that on center and let's give that a 1. Okay, so let's add these numbers accordingly. That is 13. Where? There we go. I'm gonna just have this in here. Okay. And now let's add 14, which is that one. The only sad thing is that it did mess up some of the numbering like the order that I had in here, but what I'm lazy to change it now. So I'm happy with how this one looks like. Okay, having done this, I can go back here and add yet one more row. 14. So we're gonna call that roof B. Roof T. And that is a 1. Okay. And that is exactly, yeah, so, everything ended up being occupied. So that one is the roof T, that's 14, while back top, that is number 5 right there. And then that part in there, I think that's what we call the cone, that's 7. And that should be the tail, 6. Here, that would be the stand, 9. And then base is number 10. One here, that would be, I think that's what we call the bottom R. Let's see. 11. Bottom R, yes. R for right. And that should be 12. Using here is the nose. There's the nose, so that will be 8. Okay. I mean, this looks good. So this one, I called it session 8 2. So this should be session 8 3. Very good. Yeah, so this one specifies there. Oh. There we go. This is just to specify. Okay. Yeah, so this is it. This is all I wanted to show. So now you can just right click here and export this as a PDF. But that's how you would do it if you wanted to export this and then bring it here. But well, thank you folks for watching, and then yes, now have a nice time. Bye bye.